Have you ever felt completely fine, only to find out at your next checkup that your blood pressure is dangerously high? Or maybe someone you love, your spouse, your neighbor, your best friend, collapsed one day without warning, only to hear the doctor say, "It was their heart." I'm going to say something that might surprise you. Most heart attacks don't begin with chest pain. They begin with a silent habit, repeated every day, that most seniors don't even realize is dangerous. In this video, we're not only going to uncover the number one habit silently breaking your heart, we're going to walk through 7 more hidden dangers that could be quietly increasing your risk of heart disease, stroke, and even sudden death. But here's the good news. Every one of these habits is fixable. You just have to know what to stop and what to do instead. So, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just understand what's harming your heart. You'll know exactly how to protect it every single day. Let's begin with the most common, most overlooked, and most deadly mistake I see in my patients over 60. 1. Ignoring high blood pressure. The silent threat you can't feel. High blood pressure is called the silent killer for a reason. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't show up in your morning mirror, and it rarely gives you any warning until it's too late. I've seen it time and time again. A senior patient comes in for a routine visit. They feel okay, maybe a little tired, maybe a little foggy, but their numbers through the roof. They had no idea that every single day their heart was pushing harder than it should, that their arteries were slowly stiffening, that damage was building up in their brain kidneys and heart tissue minute by minute. Here's what most people don't realize. High blood pressure isn't just a number. It's a force like water behind a dam, pressing against your arteries, weakening them with every heartbeat. And yet, so many seniors stop taking their medications once they feel better, or they forget a dose, or they run out and say, "I'll refill it next week." That single week could change everything. I once treated a 72-year-old man who had skipped his blood pressure meds while visiting family out of state. He was having fun. He didn't want to bother anyone. But on the drive home, he suddenly lost control of the wheel. His wife thought it was a stroke. It was. He survived. But his speech and memory never fully recovered, and the worst part, it was entirely preventable. So what should you do? First, never skip a dose. Set a reminder on your phone. Use a pill box. Tie it to a habit like brushing your teeth in the morning. Second, monitor your numbers at home. Buy a simple blood pressure cuff and track your readings in a notebook or app. And third, if you ever experience dizziness, blurry vision, or unexplained fatigue, don't wait. Talk to your doctor. Taking your medication isn't a suggestion, it's a lifeline. Because your heart doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be protected. And that protection starts with consistency. Let this be the habit you fix today, so your heart can keep beating strong tomorrow. 2. Skipping movement. Why sitting is the new smoking. Let me ask you something. How many hours did you sit yesterday? Was it while drinking your morning coffee, watching television after lunch, maybe scrolling on your phone in the evening? If you're like most Americans over 60, the answer is probably most of the day. And here's the hard truth. Extended sitting is no longer just a lifestyle. It's a hazard. We used to think heart disease came from smoking or eating badly. But now we know this inactivity is just as dangerous. When you sit for long periods, especially without movement, your blood flow slows. Your circulation weakens. Fat begins to build up in your arteries, and your heart, without movement to keep it strong, gradually loses its power to pump efficiently. Even your leg muscles, the ones that help push blood back toward your heart, stop doing their job. Your blood starts to pool. Inflammation rises. And over time, this quiet routine leads to heart failure, high blood pressure, and even stroke. You might be thinking, but I'm not lazy, I'm just not into exercise. Here's the good news. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need a treadmill or dumbbells. What you need is motion. a 20-minute walk around the block. Light housework, gardening, dancing to your favorite song in the kitchen. In fact, a study from Harvard showed that walking just 30 minutes a day can cut your risk of a heart attack by nearly half. That's not a theory, that's a proven fact. And it's something you can start today without fancy equipment or a strict schedule. Let me share a quick story. One of my patients, a 74-year-old retired teacher, came in last year with rising cholesterol and borderline hypertension. She said, "I don't have time for fitness. I'm always busy watching the grandkids." So we made a deal. Every day while the kids played outside, she'd walk laps around the yard. No pressure, no step goals. Just movement. 6 months later, her blood pressure dropped. Her cholesterol improved. And more importantly, she felt better, lighter, sharper, more energetic. Because that's what movement does. It doesn't just help your heart. It helps your mood, your memory, and your metabolism. So here's your lesson today. Stillness is not rest. Stillness is stress on your heart. And every time you choose to move, even just standing up, stretching, walking to the mailbox, you're telling your heart, "I'm here. I care, and I'm not giving up." Don't wait until you feel pain or stiffness. Prevent it now, step by step every day. And speaking of daily habits, what you choose to put on your plate each morning can either support your heart or slowly damage it one bite at a time. Let's talk about that next. 3. High-sodium diet, the danger hidden in healthy foods. Let me be clear, salt in the right amount is essential for life. But too much of it, especially the kind you don't even see, can quietly destroy your heart. Most seniors think of salt as something they sprinkle on their food. But the real danger isn't in the shaker. It's hidden in the foods you think are healthy. Canned vegetables, whole wheat bread, low-fat soups, even so-called heart-smart frozen meals. That's because sodium is used to preserve, to season, and to enhance flavor, often at levels that would shock you. 1 bowl of canned chicken noodle soup. Nearly half of your daily sodium limit. A slice of sandwich bread. You'd be surprised how many contain more sodium than a bag of chips. And here's what excess sodium does once it enters your body. It causes your system to retain water. Your blood volume increases. Your arteries tighten under pressure. And over time, this silent pressure builds until the heart can no longer handle the load. The result, high blood pressure, heart strain, and a far higher risk of stroke, heart failure, or kidney damage. I once had a patient, a 69-year-old woman, who was trying so hard to eat right. She switched from fast food to microwave meals. She gave up soda and replaced it with diet soup. But her blood pressure kept climbing. When we finally reviewed her food log together, we found the culprit. She was consuming more than 3,000 milligrams of sodium a day, twice the safe limit for someone her age. And she didn't even know it. So what's the lesson here? Always read the labels. Look for sodium content, not just calories or fat, and aim for no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day, especially after 60. That's about 2/3 of a teaspoon, and yes, it adds up fast. But here's the good news. Your taste buds adapt. Within just 2 to 3 weeks of reducing salt, your sensitivity to flavor sharpens. Food that once seemed bland will start to taste vibrant again naturally. You can also use fresh herbs, lemon juice, garlic, or vinegar to bring flavor back into your meals without putting your heart at risk. So before you trust the label, ask yourself, is this truly heart smart or just cleverly packaged? Make your plate your protection. Every bite is either building your health or slowly breaking it down. And speaking of meals that can harm your heart, there's one in particular that causes more heart attacks than any other. And it happens every morning just after breakfast. Let's talk about that next. 4. Stress bottled up. The emotional weight. Your heart can't carry. You can eat well. You can exercise every day. You can take your medication exactly as prescribed. But if you carry stress silently, if you bottle up anger, sadness, or fear, your heart still suffers. Emotional pain doesn't stay in your mind. It travels. It reaches your bloodstream. It floods your system with chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline designed for survival, but never meant to linger. And when those stress hormones stay elevated for weeks or months, your heart rate climbs, your blood vessels tighten, your blood pressure surges, your immune system weakens, and over time your heart becomes exhausted, strained from trying to keep up with an emotional storm you've never let out. Many seniors are proud of their strength. They say, "I've been through worse," or "I don't want to burden anyone." But silence is not strength. It's pressure without a release. And your heart, after 60 or 70 years of steady service, can only take so much. I once treated a woman in her late 60s, widowed, quietly grieving, managing everything alone. She had no history of heart problems, but she came in one day after nearly fainting at the grocery store. Her heart rhythm was irregular. Her blood pressure was dangerously high. When I asked about her stress level, she looked down and said, "I haven't cried in 5 years. I've just been holding it all together." That's when I understood. Her condition wasn't just physical, it was emotional. So here's your reminder. Your heart is not just a pump, it's a sensor. It responds to your inner world just as much as your outer one. You don't need to break down in front of everyone, but you do need a release. Talk to someone you trust. Join a support group, write in a journal, walk in nature, meditate or pray. Even 10 minutes of deep breathing can lower your heart rate and bring calm to your nervous system. And if you've been carrying stress for years, know this. It's never too late to let it go. Your heart will thank you not with words, but with stronger beats, steadier rhythms, and quieter days. Now that we've spoken about emotions, let's turn to something far more physical. The food that starts your day and the role it plays in protecting or harming your heart. 5. Processed breakfasts. Starting the day with a heart attack on a plate. Breakfast is supposed to be the meal that energizes your day. But for far too many seniors, it's actually the most dangerous moment for the heart. Let's paint the picture. You wake up. You're hungry. You reach for something quick. Maybe bacon, a buttered bagel, toast with sausage, a sugary cereal, a creamy coffee with whipped topping. It feels comforting, familiar, easy. But what most people don't realize is that this one meal taken at the wrong time and made with the wrong ingredients can become a trigger for a heart attack. Here's why. In the morning, your blood is naturally thicker. Your blood pressure is slightly elevated after hours of sleep. Your heart is still adjusting to the demands of the day. When you introduce a heavy, greasy, salty meal full of saturated fats and processed sugars, you're forcing your heart to work overtime during its most vulnerable state. Fatty breakfasts can lead to sudden spikes in cholesterol. They inflame your blood vessels. They raise triglycerides. And over time, this repeated strain weakens the arteries that keep your heart alive. As a heart doctor, I've seen this pattern too many times. A patient in their 70s with no recent complaints wakes up and eats their usual breakfast. Within an hour, they're in the ER with chest pain. No trauma, no stress. Just a familiar meal at the wrong time. One of my patients, an 81-year-old retired mechanic, told me he had eaten the same breakfast for 40 years. 4 strips of bacon, 2 fried eggs, white toast with butter. He smiled and said, "I've made it this far, Doc." But during one cold winter morning, he didn't finish his plate. He clutched his chest instead. He survived barely, and he never looked at breakfast the same again. So what can you do? Start simple. Choose high-fiber options like oatmeal topped with berries. Switch to boiled or poached eggs instead of fried. Try whole grain toast with avocado or a spoon of natural nut butter. Even a smoothie with spinach, banana, and unsweetened yogurt can nourish your heart without shocking it. The goal isn't to deprive yourself. The goal is to protect the one muscle that never stops working for you. So the next time you reach for that bacon or buttery pastry, ask yourself, is this helping my heart or hurting it? What you eat first thing in the morning sets the rhythm for your entire cardiovascular day. And speaking of rhythms, there's something many seniors rely on to relax or sleep, but it may be silently throwing your heart's rhythm out of balance. Let's take a closer look. 6. Drinking alcohol to relax. How the rules change. After 60. For years we've heard the same line, a glass of wine is good for your heart. And while that may be true in moderation for some younger adults, the rules begin to change quietly but significantly after the age of 60. As we get older, our bodies process alcohol differently. The liver becomes slower. Water content in the body decreases, and even small amounts of alcohol stay in the bloodstream longer with stronger effects. That one glass you used to enjoy in your 40s, by your 60s it's working harder on your heart, your brain and your blood vessels. It can raise your blood pressure. It can disrupt your heart's rhythm. And for those already managing heart disease or taking medications, alcohol doesn't relax the body, it complicates it. I remember a 70-year-old patient who came to me with unusual symptoms. Lightheadedness, trouble sleeping, irregular heartbeat. She wasn't overweight. Her labs were normal. But every night she had one glass of wine to unwind. We checked her rhythm. She had atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat that puts you at higher risk of stroke. And while she never considered that small drink to be dangerous, it was quietly triggering an electrical storm inside her chest. That's the tricky part. Alcohol doesn't always show immediate harm, but over time it weakens the heart muscle. It adds fat around the heart, it interacts with blood pressure medications, and it leads many seniors into a pattern. Drinking not for enjoyment, but for coping. If you're drinking to relax to sleep or to numb the day, you're not alone. But there are safer ways to find peace. Try herbal teas in the evening. Listen to soft music. Use a warm bath or a weighted blanket. Write out your thoughts in a notebook. Even 10 minutes of gentle stretching can relax your body far more deeply than alcohol ever could. Now, does this mean you must give it up completely? Not necessarily. But if you choose to drink, limit it to no more than one standard drink, and not every day. Your heart needs more time to recover, and it functions best in a stable, alcohol-free environment. The lesson here is not about guilt. It's about awareness, because what once felt harmless may now carry risks you didn't expect. And speaking of hidden risks, there's one nightly habit millions of people rely on, but it's silently disrupting their sleep, their hormones, and their heart. Let's take a closer look. 7. Nighttime screen addiction, the heart cost of blue light and bad news. You may think scrolling your phone before bed is harmless, or that falling asleep with the television on is just part of your routine. But for your heart, these nighttime habits come at a cost, one that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Let's talk about blue light. It's the light emitted from screens, phones, tablets, televisions, and even LED lights. During the day, blue light can help keep us alert. But at night, it becomes a serious disruptor. Blue light interferes with melatonin, the hormone that helps your body wind down and prepare for restful sleep. Without enough melatonin, your body doesn't fully relax. Your heart doesn't slow down the way it should. And instead of entering deep healing sleep, you remain in a light, restless state where the heart never gets the break it needs. But that's only part of the problem. It's not just the light. It's the content. News headlines, political arguments, shocking videos, endless social media updates. All of it keeps your brain on high alert, and when your mind is anxious, your nervous system follows. Your heart rate increases. Your blood pressure stays elevated, and instead of winding down, your body braces for stress. I once had a patient in his early 70s. Every night before bed, he would watch the evening news followed by an hour of online videos. He thought it helped him stay informed, but his sleep was broken. He felt groggy in the mornings, and his blood pressure readings, especially at night, were consistently high. When we made one small change, no screens for 1 hour before bed, his sleep improved. His numbers dropped, and within a month he said, "My mind is finally quiet at night." The lesson is simple. Your body is not built to process stress while trying to rest, and your heart needs the night to repair, restore, and recover. Give it the silence it deserves. Try reading a printed book. Listen to soft instrumental music. Dim the lights. Practice slow, intentional breathing. These habits support your heart and your sleep together. So before you pick up that remote or scroll one more time, ask yourself, is this helping me rest, or is it quietly keeping my heart on edge? Now, as we look toward the final and most serious habit on this list, we turn to a decision that seems small in the moment but carries life or death consequences if ignored. Let's talk about that next. 8. The one habit most seniors overlook: snoring and sleep apnea. Snoring is often treated as a joke, something people laugh about or simply learn to live with. But behind the sound of heavy snoring, there may be something far more serious, a hidden condition that quietly strains your heart night after night. It's called sleep apnea, and it affects millions of adults over 60, many of whom have no idea they have it. Sleep apnea is a disorder where your breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep, sometimes for just a few seconds, sometimes for much longer. And each pause means your body isn't getting enough oxygen. Your brain jolts you awake even if you don't realize it, and your heart is forced to work harder, faster, just to keep you alive while you sleep. This constant disruption triggers a chain reaction: spikes in blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, higher inflammation levels, and over time, a significantly increased risk of stroke, heart failure, and even sudden cardiac arrest. One of my patients, a 67-year-old retired bus driver, had no idea he had sleep apnea. He lived alone, felt tired most mornings, and assumed it was just part of getting older. But when his daughter visited and heard him gasping in the night, she urged him to get tested. The sleep study revealed dozens of breathing interruptions per hour. He was fitted with a CPAP machine, and within weeks he said he felt 10 years younger. He hadn't realized just how much his heart and his body was struggling to rest. So here's what to watch for: loud snoring, morning headaches, dry mouth, daytime fatigue, trouble concentrating, or waking up gasping for air. If you have any of these symptoms, or if someone else hears them, don't ignore them. Getting tested is simple. You can do it at a clinic or even with an at-home sleep monitor. And the treatments, from CPAP machines to mouthpieces to lifestyle changes, are more comfortable and more effective than ever. The truth is, your heart does its most important healing work while you sleep. And if that rest is constantly interrupted, your heart never gets the chance to recover. So don't let snoring be dismissed as harmless noise. It might be your body's cry for help. And now that we've explored all 8 silent habits that could be harming your heart, it's time to bring everything together. Let's recap what we've learned and talk about how you can take real, lasting action today.